Story 1. The Whispering Willows. Deep in the heart of a dense, ancient forest stood a cluster of willow trees with drooping branches that seemed to reach out like skeletal fingers. Locals knew this place as the Whispering Willows, for it was rumored to harbor the spirits of those lost in the woods over the centuries. Late one summer evening, a group of adventurous friends decided to camp near the Eerie Willows. As the campfire crackled, the friends exchanged ghost stories, trying to outdo each other with spine-chilling tales. One of them, a girl named Emily, decided to share a personal experience. She recounted an encounter she had in the very woods they camped in. Years ago, Emily had gotten lost while hiking alone. Panic set in as the darkness enveloped her, and the forest seemed to grow more sinister. That's when she heard the faintest whispers in the rustling leaves. Terrified, she followed the eerie sounds, hoping to find help. Instead, she stumbled upon an apparition of a woman, her face obscured by shadow, who seemed to beckon her deeper into the forest. Emily resisted the urge to follow and ran in the opposite direction, finally finding her way back to safety. As Emily finished her story, a soft rustling echoed from the nearby willows. The friends laughed nervously, attributing it to the wind. But when the whispering grew louder and more distinct, their laughter turned to fear. They huddled closer together, trying to ignore the feeling of being watched from the darkness of the trees. Story 2. The Haunted Inn. In a quaint little village, there stood an old, abandoned inn with a dark history. Locals warned of the spirits that roamed the halls, trapped after a tragic fire had claimed the lives of the innkeeper's family many years ago. Determined to prove their courage, a group of thrill-seekers decided to spend a night in the haunted inn. As they entered the decaying building, the air grew colder, and the sense of foreboding intensified. Candles flickered on their own, and shadows danced along the walls, seemingly playing tricks on their minds. Each creaking floorboard made their hearts race, and the wind howled eerily outside. In the middle of the night, as they sat around a circle in one of the rooms, they heard faint cries for help echoing through the corridors. Panic filled the group as they tried to pinpoint the source of the ghostly pleas. Following the haunting cries, they stumbled upon an old portrait hanging crookedly on the wall, depicting the innkeeper and his family. The eyes in the painting seemed to follow their every move, and the cries grew louder, almost unbearable. Suddenly, a hidden passageway was revealed behind the painting. Trembling, they ventured down the narrow, dimly lit passage, and it led them to a forgotten chamber. There, they found a journal that revealed the truth behind the fire, a dark secret of betrayal and greed that had condemned the innocent souls to eternal torment. As they read the final pages of the journal, the candles in the chamber extinguished simultaneously. Fear consumed the group, and in the darkness, they heard the ghostly whispers of the innkeeper's family. They knew they were no longer alone. Story 3. The Phantom Hitchhiker. On a desolate stretch of highway, late at night, a solitary driver named James was making his way home after visiting friends. Rain poured down relentlessly, making visibility poor. As he drove cautiously, he noticed a figure standing on the roadside, drenched and shivering. Feeling sympathy, he decided to offer the stranger a lift. The man climbed into the backseat without a word, and James continued his journey. But as the rain subsided, an eerie silence filled the car. James attempted to engage in conversation, but the stranger remained unnervingly quiet. Uneasy, James glanced into the rearview mirror and gasped. The passenger's reflection was nowhere to be seen. In a panic, he pulled over and turned to look behind him, only to find the backseat empty. Confused and frightened, he realized he had encountered the infamous phantom hitchhiker, a spirit doomed to wander the highway, seeking solace from unsuspecting drivers. Shaken but determined to understand what had happened, James researched the area's history. He discovered that the ghost was once a hitchhiker who died tragically on that very road, and ever since, his spirit had haunted those who offered him a ride. Haunted by the experience, James swore never to drive that road again, but he couldn't escape the ghost's haunting gaze. Some say that on stormy nights, you can still spot James's car parked on the side of the highway, its headlights illuminating the phantom hitchhiker, forever trapped between worlds.